This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Today's episode of Two Bad Hombres is brought to you by The Athletic, premium coverage for passionate Detroit sports fans. Listeners of this podcast can save 30% off the first year of an annual subscription by going and visiting theathletic.com/DSP. Every week, they're adding nationally prominent writers. I mean, my goodness, they just added Shams to cover the NBA. So get in. Don't miss out. When there's breaking NBA news, you don't want to miss out on The Athletic's coverage. In Detroit, they're covering all the major teams, all the major events. They even have writers now assigned to Michigan and Michigan State football. So become a subscriber. Don't miss out. All the hosts here on the network, we all read The Athletic. So definitely go and check out theathletic.com/DSP. Become a subscriber and save 30% off.
I was trying to get it out of here. I want them dead presidents. I want to pull up, head spin, get it, get fly. I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. Get it, get fly. I got 6 jobs.
And we're still not tired on this week's episode of Two Bad Hombres. I am your host, Vito alongside my usual psychic and broadcast partner in fun. That is the Doc from Doc and Jack, John Charles Macaroon, and we are living in the moment. John, how are you doing?
Vito, no cell phones out at this point in time in the podcast recording. How are you? Welcome to the weekend.
Very good to be alongside you for another edition of Two Bad Hombres. Looking forward to a great weekend. Had a great weekend last weekend because I had the chance to live in the moment and cover a Detroit Tigers game for the first time as a credentialed media member. Couldn't complain about my experience. You can hear all about it on this week's edition of Tigers Talk as well, which dropped earlier in the week.
Well deserved. Yeah, the network has done some great things, and we've had a fun ride all along the way since 2013. I mean, we've recorded over 1,000 podcasts. The network's growing. We're gaining followers each and every week. The subscriber count on iTunes is amazing. Everybody that donates to our website, DetroitSportsPodcast.com, and we're in the mix. That's all we can ask for is be in the mix, have a good time with it, be a media entity that we are, and to have fun with it, and that's what the goal has been, is to be part of the Detroit sports media scene, and here we are. Let's have some fun with it.
We are definitely in the mix now, aren't we, as credentialed media members? Everybody was definitely in the mix, at least tune into the final round of the PGA Championship last Sunday, too. People were on their phones, though, distracted maybe, not living in the moment. Like I said, we were, like I was last weekend specifically at Comerica Park. Now, people going to this golf event, the last major of 2018. People wanted to see Tiger, trust me, win it all, win that tournament. He didn't win, came very darn close, came in second place. But people watching that, being there up close and personal at the course, were on their phones instead of personally watching with their 2 naked eyes. What do you think about that, which is really happening in modern-day America and all over the world today?
And now, this is a good topic for us to discuss on this episode, and I think it'll be the feature topic and one that we discuss thoroughly in depth as a psychologist, and I think probably with the work that I do on Twitter, it probably lends to a discussion about how much people are addicted to their phones, what they're doing, living in the moment, and people want to capture moments, Vito, and with the advent now of the iPhone, it's just basically everybody with cameras. Everybody used to take pictures. I mean, everybody used to scrapbook. A lot of people would take family memories. They'd then have to go to the store and print it out. Sometimes if you took your nudie photos, you'd have to kind of chuckle and make sure that nobody actually, when they put it up to that screen there would actually see it. Or, if a kid, would go through your photos or you had to worry like, okay, if I'm taking bad photos, I hope nobody sees it. Or I wonder what people think when they print it, what they're looking at. But now the phone is the camera. That's what it is. And so people want to capture memories. You know why? Because when people create good moments and good memories, yeah, your brain can recall it, but instantly you can look to a phone and go, oh yeah, I was screaming my head off at the REO Speedwagon concert. Oh yeah, I can now share it with all my friends and be like, look how much fun I had over the last weekend when I had a nice date with my wife and we heard some good music. And so it's about sharing. But yes, I think when you ask the question, are people too involved and too reliant upon taking photos? Yes. We all have that one friend that's just like, you're sitting down, you order food, let's take a picture. You're like, come on, I just want to sit, cross my legs and relax a minute. And I'm usually one of those people that is on my phone. I like to take a lot of pictures. I like to share a lot of memories because it helped me with the podcast. That's how I grew it, is that people ask me all the time, how did you grow the podcast Twitter? I was just me. I was tweeting a lot. I was on my phone. I was in the mix debating sports with every single person in the sports media world. And so I was in the mix. But yeah, if I look at it now, my behavior, there are a lot of things, just even a couple days ago, I was babysitting the kids and I made a cake with them and I just felt like I wanted to share with everybody. Like, look at me. I'm making a cake for the kids. And it was fun to see how many people saw it, how many people liked it. But yeah, I do think that the way that I detached was, and my sister was really nice. She's like, look, I'll give you $200 if you go 4 days and not go on your phone completely. And I said, no problem. And the first day was okay. Second day was rough. I was like, oh my gosh, what do you do in that free moment? You just got to live. And I was like, whoa, day 3 was torture. By day 4, I'm going to reveal this now. I broke the bet, okay? But I lied to my sister.
Does she know that you broke the bet?
No, hell no. I took the money.
What a liar. Straight up liar.
Yeah, baby. I took her money, and I'm like, look, I did it for 3 days. I wanted to get paid for that accomplishment. So if she asked for it, I'm blaming you. But the funny thing is, people are really attached to their phones and they want to share memories. And now across all the great platforms, I mean, everybody wants to be Instagram famous. They want to get their snaps seen. Some people use it for sexting and things like that. But I do agree with Mike Mulholland when he said, look, I take photos for a living, but just live in the moment a little bit more and take some time away from your phone. And that's what I tell young kids that I work with here at the practice. I say, look, if you're on your phone more than like an hour a day, maybe detach a little bit and get away from that, live a little bit. And I've been doing more of that. That's why.
You tell these kids to do that. How often are you on the phone a day? More than an hour? You're a Twitter addict.
No, I'm on the phone 8 hours a day, and it's in relation to work. It's work, Vito. I work, and that's how I.
So you could just write it off as work. You tell your wife, wait,
I'm working.
Every single time your wife wants to talk to you and you're glued to your phone, you're saying it's for work.
It's work.
Even when you're on Twitter.
Technically,
for the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. What did she say in response to that? You say it's for work, then she finds out, oh, you're on Twitter tweeting out nonsense to the masses via our Twitter platform.
She rolls her eyes, but I tell her, look, we've gone on 3 vacations as a result of the hard work of this network, and it is work. And people will say when I go out to the games, well, are you getting paid? I'm like, yeah, I'm getting paid. Now, that moment, no, it's not like I go in and then the next day I cash a check, but it's an investment in the future of the network, and I have been paid handsomely to podcast, and not many people can say that, and I'm proud to say that little by little, you also have to do some things, that are work-related. So am I on it sometimes too much? Am I bored by conversations by people? Yes, I am. And I'm working on it. I'm working on...
So work in progress. How do you need a psychiatrist for that, or a therapist to talk? Yeah, you talk to me over these airwaves, right? That's how we vent, and you can get over certain things and move on, right? And
you didn't know, Vito?
Yourself.
I do a podcast just to talk to people.
I didn't know that. There you go.
Duh.
This is where you get your talking done. So then when you get home, you have nothing to talk about with your wife.
No.
She's just there in the corner. There's nothing to talk to her about.
Wrong, actually, Vito.
Well, good. That's good to hear.
See, as a journalist, I would expect that you would be somebody that would gather all the facts. But if you would actually go outside your comfort zone and invite me out, you would see that, you know what? If I talk to Doc, he's a very funny guy. He's a worldly guy.
He's all right.
He's all right.
He's kind of funny.
Very good guy to hang out at a bar with, because he'll be like, da-da-da-da. He'll bring up something from sports related. He'll bring up something politics related. He'll bring up something business related, family related, beer related. I'm a guy that I think is a good invite to a bar, but you would never know because you hang out with your softball buddies and you celebrate all your successes with your friends, and I'm not part of it. That's okay.
I did invite you to something recently. You couldn't come out for it, so I can say that really did happen, and you can back me up on that front.
But again, I went to a concert, and like you said, people were videotaping Tiger Woods and that golf outing. I was videotaping parts of the concert. Now, there were people that were videotaping large portions of the song. I was like, whoa, no way. That's not for me. But what's your relationship with the phone, and do you feel like we are now becoming a society where we're glued and addicted to our phones?
Well, I know one thing. I know my phone better than I know females. Probably a better chance of me making love with the phone than the opposite sex at times. But realistically now, on a serious note, I feel like I'm not an addict, but I'm glued to my phone at times too, and I want to view everything with my naked eyes and live in the moment that way, but I feel like you are living in the moment with your phone too. So as much as I was kind of a naysayer for people that are using their phones constantly, I think there comes a certain point where you are using it too much, you're crossing the line, And I think it's when you are like filming an entire concert. Really? You're on your phone the entire concert? How about the person you're with? Typically, you're going with somebody else to watch the concert, to watch the Tigers game, right? To watch the Pistons game, to watch the Lions game. So when you're on your phone for texting or for video taking, photo taking purposes, the whole entire game or entire concert, I think you're overstepping your boundaries as a person, as a consumer there to take in the game and take it in with your naked eyes, right? Your 2 naked eyes rather than just your mobile device.
Okay, so let's set some rules here. Let's say, for example, you and I go out, and I'm being a little bit heavy on the phone. Like, you're with me, and I'm drinking a beer, and I'm taking a picture of it. I'm seeing plays on the field, I'm taking a picture of it. I'm taking pictures, selfies, and I'm tweeting out.
See, I don't like the selfie. I'm not a selfie. I'm not into the selfie game at all.
Let's say you're with a buddy, and they're just way too much on their phone, or you're with a date, guy or girl, and they're on their phone too much.
Thank you for saying that, guy or girl.
What do you say? Like, do you say, hey, put the phone down, let's live? What do you do if you're with somebody and they're getting a little bit too much into their phone?
I smack the phone out of their hand, and then I leave.
Vito, they're $800.
Throw a beer right onto that phone. I make sure that phone is damaged to the max. No.
If they got an Android, there are a lot of phones that are waterproof now.
I'm going to have to do something else then.
What would you do if you saw me just being up my phone's butt, texting and taking photos, not living in the moment?
Well, I've seen you do it, and I just live with it. But no, I wouldn't be happy, but what am I going to say? I'm going to probably repeat the question or statement that I made a couple of times to make sure I grab your attention, and I would do that with the date of the opposite sex, the same sex do. Trust me.
You know what? I think that if we go out and you see me doing that, just say, hey, Doc, come on. I want to chit-chat. I got it.
Well, I invite you how many times a year? Twice a year, and then you still have the audacity to have your phone out.
Okay, now,
instead of listening to me.
Now, if you want to interview me and ask me why I do it, in that, a lot of people don't have a lot of interesting things to say. I mean, honestly.
Well, you don't, and that's why you're on your phone constantly, and I get that. That's why I approve of it and let you do it at times.
I have interesting things to say all the time.
Well, you said you do.
But
do other people think that? Anyways.
Other people, I think, don't hold my interest all that much because.
So me?
I mean,
are you saying me?
I don't recall a memorable conversation that we had where I'm going, man, Vito had me on the floor laughing. I mean, we share a beer, we talk about the environment, where we're at, the owner, we talk about things like that. But we spend so much time together that we just go there to hang out, to not talk because we're trying to escape our family or our wives or things like that. So we kind of go just to be at a place and kind of be quiet. Guys don't go
drink a beer, eat some good food, right?
Exactly. Share some laughs, talk about the project and things like that. And so I guess, you know what? We'll plan something out where you invite me for some beers, buy the beers. You know what it is? Is because if you invite me for beers, I'll be more talkative. Deal.
There we go. It'll take that. Well, hey, same for me. If you buy my beers, plural, then I'll be much more talkative because as the beers keep flowing, I'm much more talkative. I'm already talkative, but anyways.
I think it's fair that if you're with somebody and what a lot of people do to kind of offset people being addicted to their phones is they play this game where everybody puts their phone in a bin or like a little jar or something at the table, and the first person to reach their phone pays the tip, or the first person.
Nice, that's a good idea too. Yeah. People do that actually.
Yeah, that's what people do.
Really,
everybody, and that's what families do. It's encouraged. Is hey, everybody put your phone in a bin. The first person to reach it gets a punishment or has to do something silly.
Smacked across the face.
But if you go out with your buddies, try it out. Say, look, guys, let's just all put our phones in a bin, or I'll put our phones here. First one to grab it pays the tip.
And Nick Schmiegel couldn't do it, so he'd be paying the tip. That's a good thing, though. I wouldn't be paying the tip or the tab.
Nick is
well, he's a ladies' man. He's on his phone texting this girl, that girl. It seems like that at times. I'm exaggerating. But I think he would be the first guy. Now, he probably would say it would be me that would do it first because he says I'm addicted to Twitter like you are. You really are addicted to Twitter. I don't think I am a Twitter addict. Not fully, at least. Partially.
I think if you want to grow an entity, an outlet, you have to be.
You have to be. To start off, you have to be.
But
once you grow it, I don't know how much you really have to be on your phone or on Twitter, though.
Wouldn't you say you've noticed that Sundays I'm way chill? It's not as...
Besides for during the Lions season.
Yeah.
During football season, college football, NFL season. Yeah. You're pretty much going ham with Twitter. You are, Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, I'm going ham, and that's what it is. I really am into it. I'm invested, and I think that's how I grew the network and grew the platform. I mean, you can't have the success unless you make a little bit of a sacrifice, but it's going to slow down. I mean, I'm not going to tweet as much as I have. I mean, I might employ you to do it at some point if you could actually close a deal. Then we'll get to do it.
One day it'll come. Thank you for bringing that up.
It's coming.
Anyways, what if we had recordings of us outside of the studio made public? As in the White House now has undergone all of this, had to deal with this, the negativity from it because of Omarosa recently recording President Trump, the chief of staff for the White House, John Kelly, as well, on her way out. She recorded him and what he had said to her on her way out of the White House.
Beautiful segue, Vito. Not only do we have cameras, now we are all photojournalists. We're all videographers. We all have the ability at the drop of a hat. Look, we were recording, and I got a phone call because I'm upgrading my telephone.
And you took it. Look at that. You had the audacity to take it to disrupt our recording.
And the opportunities now to record things, people are getting famous. And here's where I think we went astray. When we were able to monetize our own entertainment, when we were able to kind of shed light via our own videos and things like that, because of the fact that this word going viral really has made people a little bit more willing to shoot things, right? Like, let's say, for example, and a lot of people have noticed it, you walk and let's say you're going to a casino, okay? You and Nick and the buddies, without me, are going to a casino.
For sure without you, yes.
You're going to a casino, you see a fight. How many people do you see intervening to stop the fight? One. How many people do you see standing in a circle videotaping?
Everybody,
12.
yes.
And people are calling those kind of people heartless and rude. But why are you doing it? So that, boom, in the next 4 minutes, I can post it to Facebook. Maybe 400,000 people will like it. Maybe people will, maybe I'll put it up on YouTube if I'm a YouTuber, and maybe I'll get more subscribers, I'll get more followers for that chance of 15 minutes of fame. And I do think that the opportunity to get famous and rich has made more people willing to shed light on society with videotaping secretly. But it can also be used for good. I mean, we've now had national discussions about how police treat people because of the phone. We have opportunities to actually see how restaurants operate behind the scenes by people secretly taping. There is some good that comes from it. But overall, if you're secretly taping somebody and they don't know it, it's illegal. You're not supposed to do that. And it's unfortunate because now in this situation with the president, I do think that more and more stuff is coming out. People really want everybody to see the real version of Donald Trump. And, in that sense, fine. If she did that and he did actually use the N-word and that's the outcome of what we hear from the tapes, then he should face the judgments. But all in all, overall, for day-to-day people, I would say don't secretly tape your friends. Don't secretly tape other people doing stuff. And a lot of guys secretly would probably admit they secretly tape themselves doing some things with their significant others.
Well, they do. But if you secretly record it or tape it or shoot it, you keep it for yourself and only for yourself. You don't release it to the masses on Twitter, to the public, to NBC News, as Omarosa did. This reality TV star was fired from Celebrity Apprentice, first The Apprentice and Celebrity Apprentice after that, 3 times in total by Donald Trump, the president who hired her onto his staff. He shouldn't have done so in the first place. She's always been a snake, out to get everybody else and only looking out for herself. And then you hire her to your staff? Really? Stupidity on behalf of Donald Trump to start off there, but to record the president in the White House, I don't care that it's Trump you're doing it to, a guy that I don't like him. But I don't think it should be happening in the White House nonetheless, regardless of your viewpoints, whether or not you're a liberal, a Democrat that is, or a Republican, or independent. I don't think it's right to record the president. It is not right to do that to him or her that is running the nation from the White House. And I don't like Trump, and I'm saying that it's not right.
Have you ever audio taped anybody or secretly done anything with a phone just for laughs that you share with your brother, or maybe just see him doing some weird stuff like dancing or something silly? I've never done it.
I think I've exposed my mom on Snapchat, so I've done that to her, but I'm not releasing, demeaning stuff to her that can ruin her name and reputation as Omarosa is to Donald Trump, who, once again, let me reiterate, I don't like, but once again, what she did is wrong. You can't be doing that to the president of the U.S. And when you're doing that, it looks shoddy for her character and her reputation, which was already diminished. Nobody really viewed her in the most positive light. But now that she's done this to expose President Trump and to expose him further than he already has been exposed, well, I think it even damages her credibility or her reputation as a human being even further.
We've talked a little bit on this episode of Two Bad Hombres about the pitfalls of the phone. Obviously, there's great things that you can do. You can connect with family. I mean, if you're overseas, you can literally, within a push of a button, talk to people. I mean, the information age, I feel like I'm smarter. I feel like I'm more connected to the world. There are people in Japan, military vets that follow us, and we've been able to connect with the world. But overall, in evaluating the positivity of a phone, there are positives, but when you rate it, and you ask, overall, has the phones and smartphones been good for society? I feel like the evaluation should come back that, you know what, it's kind of done detriment to society. It's made people meaner with the trolls on Twitter. It's made people more detached. People don't want to talk as much. It's made people view the world a lot more negative, and it's made people addicted to being on it with games. And with parenting, I feel like it's hurt in that parents go, you know what, my kid shuts up when he's on his iPad and on YouTube and watching videos on his phone, and I can just give him the phone. He can text his friends all day long.
See, is that the answer now?
See, that's the thing. I'm like, you know, I would say in terms of parenting, I tell parents, look, I wasn't around phones or the internet till I was 19. I mean, literally, I wasn't on Yahoo chats, AOL chats. I saw it periodically. But my
because
family,
you're so old, though, was it not around yet? Is that why?
No, I can tell you my story. My parents were late to everything, so I didn't get cable until I was like 14. They just kept 247, and we were very sheltered. We had family dinners. We went to church. We were very old school. Like MTV came out, and I didn't have ESPN, or I was introduced to the whole world of cable, AOL chats, chatting when I was 18 and went to college. So everything kind of I knew about, and I would see when I'd go to my friend's house. Like they would say, oh, I can connect to the AOL. I'd do it for like 5 minutes. So I never felt like I missed out because my friends did it. And then I went to college and I had a computer for the first time. I had more freedom, so I got on it. So I was around 18 in 1997, and so all this stuff started happening. So even Vito, when the iPhone age started, I didn't get into it until 2003, 2004. I stuck with the BlackBerry. I had a flip phone. I joke with my wife in that when I met her about 10 years ago, 2008, 2009, I would text her and joke with her that every text I sent her would cost her a dime because she was on a text plan where she would go over every text that she got was 10 cents. So I would joke with her and be like, hey, what's up? 10-cent text and things like that. So I didn't get into it. And obviously, once I did, maybe 5-6 years ago, it all took off, and I got, sucked in, and I was into the smartphones. But I held off well into my late 20s. So for my kids, the rule of thumb is going to be, and I told my sister, don't you dare get your kids an iPhone until they're 15 minimum. And that's what my girls are not getting smartphones. They'll get a flip phone. They can call me, and they can shoot a couple messages to their cousins. But to have the full capability of a phone, no way. I think society needs to scale back on it. It's gotten too far.
So you lived a sheltered life growing up. Look at you, poor old Doc. Now I feel bad for you, John. Now, when you first got, a computer for the first time you got in college?
Yeah.
That's when you first got a computer. A laptop or desktop?
It was a desktop. Yeah.
So when you got that desktop, man, you were going to town.
Oh.
And if you get what I mean, you were going to town when you found out what you could find on that desktop of yours, huh?
Okay,
can only imagine.
If you've listened to me carefully in the 5 years of podcasting, I've told everybody the years 1997 to 2001, going to Michigan State were the best 4 years of my life, all encompassing. Everything that you could get exposed to, I was exposed to. I didn't overindulge. I didn't become addicted or reliant upon anything, but I was exposed to everything. And I grew up. And
you grew up really quick.
And it is a test.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it's a major test. And so Adam asks me all the time, would you let your girls go there? I would say no. Because
after what's come out about Michigan State and the culture there on campus?
No, Vito, the college culture was there in 1997.
Yeah.
It's a test, and people fail tests. So I had friends that would go there and drink too much, flunk out of school. They couldn't not stop partying. They could not indulge in women. They succumbed to the temptation. Now, me, I was disciplined because of my upbringing. I indulged in everything. I seen it all, watched it all, taped it all. We did it all.
Hey, where's that phone that has all those recordings? I would love to see those recordings now.
Those tapes, those VHSs are burned.
Have they been deleted? There we go.
So it was a great experience, but it was under control. And so my philosophy was I would study day and night, 6 days a week, and Saturday night was my outlet. Go out, have fun, do whatever I had to do. Sunday, back at it. So I would do it once a week. But did I want to do it 5 days a week? I got lucky, and I set up a schedule where I had more fun my senior year because I went to school all year for about 3 years, and I had the opportunity to take like 2 classes my senior year. So I had like
beautiful
Wednesday,
for you to
Thursday,
have some
Friday.
fun,
Yeah,
baby.
I had some fun. And I would say that the temptation at Michigan State is too great. It's too great. It's hard.
But everywhere you go, every college campus you go almost, there are temptations. So for your daughters moving forward, man, I wish you the best of luck.
Macomb or
Think
Oakland.
about it.
Oh, they got 2 choices. There's only 2 universities
Come
in the
on,
whole
you
world.
want a beautiful university for them with the best kind of education possible. And wherever they go now, remember, even at those best education schools out there, such as U of M, other great universities throughout the state, they're going to see everything.
Daddy's wallet opens for Oakland or Macomb. and everything else is closed. So if they want to do
Everything
that,
else is out of their pocket, huh?
everything else is
Look
out
at
of
you.
That's how you do
Wow,
it.
what a
Vito.
tough father you will be.
But wouldn't you say that net overall, the smartphone has been a detriment to society?
I was going to say smarter and dumber it's made us. I mean, dumber because I have to hear LaVar Ball now all the time. I mean, hearing a guy like that.
Oh,
Come on, we just
hear
came
that?
out and said something else. Again, about how LeBron,
Lonzo's team.
It's Lonzo's team instead of LeBron, because LeBron came from Cleveland to L.A.
The Lakers
Lonzo didn't
are
go
Lonzo's
to Cleveland.
team, yeah.
So
Nice
it's
enough.
Lonzo's team. Come on, LeBron James in L.A. and it's Lonzo's team? LaVar Ball, do you really believe that, man? I mean, how ludicrous
I
is
wanna ask
that,
you this.
Doc?
Knowing that he goes on radio stations, he's doing it for attention. He
Pup,
knows.
pup for himself. Everything he says will be reported upon.
So I like that he's, that braggadocious, but it's not realistic. Nobody believes it. So he can go out there and he's afforded the right to say that because nobody believes it's LeBron's team right away.
So stupid. It's just full stupidity. Now, it sounds like you would like his braggadocious mentality and personality on the DSP Network airwaves one day.
See,
He'd be a good addition, wouldn't he? He
problem
would
is-
just be stating so much crap.
I'd love to maybe do it one-on-one with him.
Would
but
ya?
On that phoner, everyone's done it with him, and people, I think, will also look down upon us for interviewing a guy like that because he's just doing it for attention, so I don't think so.
One-on-one in person would be cool, but over the phone, yeah, we don't need that. We're not going to do that at the DSP Network anytime soon.
No. So overall, what's your relationship like with the phone? You use it properly. I feel like you're on there responsibly. You're not on there too much. I mean, sometimes you're out and I'm like, I wish Vito would snap. Like when you were at the game, I'm like, he's not doing a lot of social media stuff outside of Twitter and things like that. Whereas I'm like, Vito's there. Look what he did. I'm like trying to put it on 85 different places. I'm so excited. But I think you're responsible and I give you credit for being measured. I don't think you've sent any phallic pictures to anybody. I don't think you've sent inappropriateness of your butt anywhere.
Well, there was that one night. No, I've never done that. No.
Right.
I've never been that kind of human being to do that. I don't want to engage in that kind of activity, especially now at 25 when I want to work my way up in this career of the media industry. I can't do that. I can't afford that.
It's credit to your parents. They raised you good.
And they did. Great upbringing like your parents said. Great upbringing from my parents. We can't complain, man. We were raised the right way, and that's why we're just great on-air personalities here at the DSP Network.
To wrap up the podcast and give a good PSA, what are fair guidelines with your phone? I mean, Mike Mulholland says definitely live more in the moment. Don't do stupid things with your phone. Don't tape people when they're not looking.
Or don't release it. Don't release it. If you record it, keep it for you and that person or for your own good and nobody else.
What are some fair guidelines for people to use their phone? How can we as a society do better in terms of connecting socially with the phone and what we can do? Phones have helped us a lot as well, but at the same time, the negatives are really highlighted and they should be looked at.
Well, don't tape somebody when it's a personal, intimate conversation and when that person wants to keep it off the record. If it's not on the record, you don't tape that person and then use it for your own good to advance your career. That's a horrible thing to do for you. And then also, I would say I'm kind of your mentality that with kids, they shouldn't have a smartphone. They should have the dumbest phones out there until they're 15 or 16. I would say maybe even 16 years old. I think I would be a tough father in that regard as well. Because I don't want my daughters, especially daughters, but daughters and sons exposed to all of that nonsense on Twitter, all over social media, all over the interweb, because there's so much out there now to witness and to experience at a young age when these kids are too young to experience all of it and to be exposed to all of it.
Okay, before we get out of here, Vito's Quickies, I want to just ask you your thoughts on some general topics, and I want it to be in a rapid-fire style, so you can give your answer with an explanation on any of these questions. So we obviously saw Tiger Woods, second place, PGA Championship. He's had some runs in these majors. Does he win another major?
He's come close, but never wins. I think he's still lacking something, that clutch gene that maybe he had in the past to win his what? He's won how many majors?
14.
14 already in his career. Will he get to more than 14? I think no at this stage in his career.
A 6-year-old spent $350 on her mom's Amazon account. She was able to, she was instructed to buy something. She actually went on and started ordering a lot more. Parents' fault or just a hilarious story from this 6-year-old?
Parents' fault to allow that child to have the access, right, to what, the debit card or credit card to order that stuff on Amazon. So it's on the parent. How about the parent maybe be more of a little bit leery more of the daughter and what she has or the son and what he has, right, in his or her possession. So how about you be on top of your child a little bit more? Because I know one thing, that wouldn't have been happening under the guidance or, with the upbringing that I had with my parents.
Does the Big Ten have a PR problem with what's been going on with Michigan State in past seasons, what's going on now with some athletes at Michigan, potentially former or current, selling shoes, and now you got DJ Durkin, that whole mess going on at Maryland in terms of the death of a player. Really horrific stuff when you really look at the details of that story. I mean, over an hour went by without proper care, and this individual was basically worked out to death. The Big Ten, in terms of athletics and what's been going on, has been getting a lot of negative pub lately. Do they have a PR problem?
Bad image, because it looks like right now they care more about winning than raising good human beings and having good human beings at their universities. And then I heard something, a little tidbit here to release to the masses here on Two Bad Hombres this week, that those shoes being sold were sold after the students were done with their eligibility. When eligibility had run up for them, they started selling the shoes and making a profit off of those shoes that they did sell. Can't release the source for that matter right now. But I did hear that news, and I think it comes down to, you look at the Urban Meyer situation too. Ohio State will probably keep him, and Maryland will probably not retain DJ Durkin because of what? Because of what? Durkin's not a known commodity, doesn't win at Maryland. Urban Meyer is a known commodity and wins at Ohio State. Once again, these universities, not just in the Big Ten, but all over the land, care more about winning than about having good people lead their programs.
Will Ameer Abdullah be on the Lions roster game 1?
I'm going to say no because of LeGarrette Blount, Kerryon Johnson, Theo Reddick, because he's still there too. I mean, they got other options. And right now, I think LeGarrette Blount and Kerryon Johnson both could be above Ameer Abdullah on the depth chart. And Abdullah, I think because of that, is the odd man out in Detroit.
Finally, how's your softball team doing?
Softball team only one loss. I did a great interview. I think you saw it on Snapchat. Nick Schmiegel had a Snapchat. It was a funny snap to see with a guy that I call the captain. Nick's the true captain, but this other guy, Brendan Quigley, who used to be on my campus radio show at Detroit Mercy, a big Notre Dame Irish fan. Big game for U of M against Notre Dame coming up September 1. So we'll be smack talking each other. I know a lot of trash talk will be exchanged between him and I leading up to that game September 1. But a good guy. Team is doing well as well, and now we have the playoffs starting up this Monday.
How are your stats?
Stats are all right. I'm hitting above 600, much better than last year. I hit below 300, I believe, last year. I've made a couple of errors, but not a ton of errors, so consistently getting it done with the glove in the field and with the bat, actually, which is a surprise. Not a big surprise, but is a surprise to me.
All right, Vito, great podcast recording. A little shorter this week. We've kind of taken it light. I know some podcasts, some radio hosts take weeks off. We don't do that. We just go a little bit shorter when we want to kind of relax. We just wanted to focus in on one topic, and I like that. We went in depth on one topic, and we'll do that every once in a while. But I do think that I enjoy spending hours with you podcasting. So it was a good week. And I do have an idea for a sports podcast, and I'll share it with you off the air. That would be really fun. And one day maybe someone like you or your ilk could do. And it'd be a great podcast idea. So I appreciate you. Follow us on the network at Detroit Podcast. Follow the show at Two Bad Hombres. Follow Vito at Vito Jerome. Good stuff, sir.
Adios.